I'm super excited to be with you here today to talk about WORKSPACE. And at the end of this hour, my goal is that you are as excited as we are about WORKSPACE, but also obviously that you know how you can use it in your daily work, right? And we're going to come back to this after this hour to see on that one. All right, let's start directly into it. My name is Leif Fischer. I have the privilege to lead our product management for our software solution. That includes WORKSPACE, not only. It also includes Inspect, and we will see a little bit about this one as well. If you want to connect with me, if you want to reach out to me, if after the webinar you might have questions, the best way on how to do that is either connect with me directly on LinkedIn, or just send me a mail at leif.fischer@screeningeagle.com. All right, before I forget it, if you have any questions, any remarks, anything specific that you would like to know, please just post them in the Q&A part. You see that here on Zoom. Just post it in there and I'll either address it directly or at the end of the session in our Q&A, depending on where we are in the presentation, if that's okay. Good, let's start. First, a couple of words to us. Screening Eagle is really this combination of two worlds which were part of our group before, but a little bit more than a year ago, we decided to really combine forces. On the one side, we have PROCEQ, founded in 1954, really the foundation and where all the great sensors that I guess many of you know are coming from. So really our sensor base. And then on the other side, it's Streamlab, situated both in Singapore and in Spain, in Malaga, our software powerhouse, right? And by combining these two forces, we have been able to create this, what we like to call this NDT ecosystem, combining both the best of the sensor world and the software world in one. We are more than 250 people, quickly growing. I think the latest number was 270, 8 country offices, with a global presence to be close to wherever you might be. This is just a list of names and logos that we are proud to call customers, right? They come from all different backgrounds and verticals. You have obviously construction, aerospace, inspection tech companies, automotive. So really a wide range of customers who use our sensors already today. And as we are seeing, are also adopting WORKSPACE very quickly in their daily work. All right, and now let's dive a little bit into what WORKSPACE is, right? And it's all about this end-to-end inspection software, accompanying you hopefully through your daily work of gathering data and then doing something smart with it, right? It's about preparing your work maybe in the morning or the day before. If you are using Inspect, our inspection software, then you might do this in here, right? That in Inspect, that you are doing the project preparation, that you prepare your asset. If you use other software or do it manually on pen and paper, obviously that's then there. It's about then the field inspection, measuring the data out there with a GPR, with a Pundit, with a Schmidt hammer, or visual inspection, as you see with the right picture with the Screening Eagle Inspect. It's about then post-processing the data, meaning getting it somewhere and do some analysis on it. And at the end of the day, I guess many of you know that one, that you need to do some kind of report for your customer, for other stakeholders, for your boss, whoever, or then even directly go into some repair and maintenance tasks. And what we like to think, when we like to think about workspace, it's really this glue who holds all of this together, right? Workspace is this glue who connects your sensors with the cloud with post-processing systems like workflow softwares like Eagle Inspect, or also in the future, and we're going to talk about this a little bit, with post-processing software like GPR Insight, GPR Slice, or even your own post-processing software. Or in other words, or if you look at it differently, it could also be seen like this, right? We have all this ecosystem of different sensors, radar-based, ultrasonic-based, or just plain camera-based, like for Eagle Inspect, where you do your measurements with. This doesn't have to, but can all flow into Inspect, where you gather all the data. But again, the glue that holds this whole thing together, the foundation of this ecosystem, really is Workspace. Okay, so if you do any kind of post-processing on your NDT data, or if you might need or want to share your data with co-workers or with customers or any other stakeholders, right? Or if you might even use a multitude of sensors, different sensors, or the same, then boy, do we have a solution for you. But why actually do we do that, right? Everybody knows this image, the USB cables and so on, and I hate that. You're out on the job site, you come home, now you need to find the cables, connect it on the sensor, on your PC. You manually download the different files. You have to search for them first. You have to put them into the right folder. Maybe you've taken some pictures with another camera, or even used multiple sensors, right? And now it's a mess. You have to do that manually and put it everywhere. And as we all know, we have tons of different tools, tons of different things that we are using: Excel, Word, maybe some data repositories like Dropbox, or other systems. And it just leads to a massive fragmentation of where your data is. And with that, we actually do know that a lot of the data is missing in action, right? It might not even be that it's completely gone. It's just super difficult to find all the data from somewhere where you put it maybe 5 years ago, and now all of a sudden you need it because you do a new inspection on this particular asset, on this particular bridge or building, or something happened and you quickly need to access all the data, like as an example, this condominium in Miami, right? And that's one of the reasons, right, why we build Workspace. And Workspace is truly this web-based collaboration and management platform for all your inspection work with any of our products. What we did really well at Screening Eagle, in my view, a couple years back, we started to connect all our PROCEQ probes. You know that, right? You go out into the field, you do your inspections, and you have the possibility to sync this directly with our secured servers. And then if you take another iPad, for example, with you, or somebody else takes this iPad, he has access to the same measurements, to the same data. And with that, you can share it easily. You were able to share it from your iPad to another person's iPad, and so on. And we have enhanced that now with Workspace that we just launched approximately 1 month ago. Workspace doesn't replace your apps that you are using today, right? So still today you have the sensors here on the left, you have your apps on the right. You still use the apps to do the measurements, to change your parameters, to maybe have a closer look at the individual measurements, and maybe add some information there. So that all still remains the same. So you don't have to change anything in your normal workflow. The only thing that you have in addition now is this web-based tool that you can directly access your data and also share it with your coworker, with your customers, and so on. So it's really this one place where we put as a starting point of your work when you go home into the office, so that you don't have to do it anymore on the iPad. Now, how do you access basically all the whole ecosystem, but in particular also Workspace? Also here, you don't have to change anything, right? When you connect to any of our sensors with the iPad, you already today have your login credentials, your Eagle ID, your email that you are using to connect, and obviously your password. And that just remains the same, right? You have one single key, this Eagle ID, to connect, whether it's to the Pundit app or to the GP app or the GS or the Pundit Impact, or also to inspect. And you use the same Eagle ID today also just to sign in to Workspace. And whatever data you have gathered with your Eagle ID before, maybe on a GP with a GP 8100, you're going to see it on Workspace as soon as you have connected, logged in there. Obviously, it was the logical place for us to put a couple points also on the administrative side, right? You can manage and view your subscriptions from there, and you can do stuff like resetting or changing the password, changing your personal profile information, and all these kind of things. Just like you might be used to from iCloud or from Office 365. So this Eagle ID is really, it's like your Apple ID, right? You have one Apple ID that you use for your iPhone, your iPad, to connect to iCloud and so on. It's the same with the Eagle ID. It's just this one login credential set to your own entity ecosystem platform. So I'm going to show it to you afterwards in live, right? How this looks like, what you can do on it. But let's still have a look at here quickly here. That's the homepage. So after you log in, that's what you see. So if you look at the bottom, first of all, what you see is you see all the probes that you have used to collect data with your Eagle ID. So here, I have done some measurement with a Schmidt hammer, with a UT8000, with an Equatip, with two Equatips, and so on. And obviously, if you click on it, you see more information. I'm going to see that also afterwards. On the left, you have a list of all the applications that you are using, right? So if you have data, for example, with G1000 and Schmidt hammer, you're going to see the GP app and the OS app on your left. And the one on the bottom, that's how you can connect to Eagle Inspect. So if you want, you can also just go in there and try it out and have a look at yourself. Then we know, right? Many of you will use Workspace in a way that maybe you're out in the field, or somebody of your team or of your company is in the field. He is taking a measurement, or you are taking some measurements. You drive home into the office, you put the sensors at the right place, and now you want to download them, now you want to share them, because you need to do maybe some post-processing or some reporting and so on. So that you can do directly from the home page, right? Because here what you see is your most recent files that you created or that you changed something on it, so you have direct access to it, no matter with which applications, with which sensor you took them. On the right, you can export it. That's what I just said, right? And obviously then on the top right, that's where you would find then your account details, where you can change your user data and so on. Don't worry, you'll see that again in just a minute. When we click into one of these applications, you should feel at home directly, right? It looks very similar to the applications. You have the same folder structure. If you create a new folder for your measurements in your app, obviously it's right here again, so you can organize yourself from home, but also from there. On the right side, you see a certain amount of information. I'm going to show this to you afterwards. What you see your snapshots that you have created, your most important measurement details. You can access the logbook of your measurement and all these kind of things. And obviously, you can then also share and export it, right? And this is something we believe is also quite a novelty with this sharing functionality, right? You can, if you want to send a copy of your measurement data, you don't need to no longer send it manually to somebody or download it and then copy it into a mail and then send this mail to somebody and this person has to import this again. Now it's really as easy as selecting the right measurement, in this special link that you can copy and that you can then just send via Teams or in any other way to your colleague or to your customer, and he then directly also has access to this data. And if he is also one of the users with our iPad, obviously he has the same data set in his iPad as well, that he can also then change parameters and so on. One thing which I personally think is very practical is that Screening Eagle Workspace is platform independent or platform agnostic. It's a normal web application that you can access from any browser, right? So maybe you love our sensors and how we do it with the iPad, but for whatever reason in your life you don't like the Apple products that much, or just from your company's policy. For the other work, you might use Android or are more a Linux user, or more the Mac guy, or more the Windows guy. It doesn't matter with Workspace, right? You can access it from any browser that you want. So if you're let's say, I mean, if you're lucky enough to own, for example, a Tesla, you can even access your measurement directly from your car, right? Because it has a web browser and you can access it directly from there. So I think that's super practical, and also opens then this door from our let's say more Apple-inspired world into other ecosystems. Okay, so in summary, you have now access to your data from everywhere all the time, right? You don't need your iPad with you. You can leave that one in the office. You can go home, and if you quickly want to see something, or maybe your colleague asked you or texts you, can I please have a copy of the data? You can also just do it directly from home very quickly and send and share the data with him. It's all on this one platform, right? And you can use this also then for post-processing. And here maybe also something that to give you a little bit an outlook of where we want to go with this, right? We announced this in our keynote 1 month ago. As you might or might not know, at Screening Eagle, we also GPR Slice is also one of our solutions. But for those who know GPR Slice, right, it's this PC-based software that you, just like a traditional software, you download it, you install it, and so on. And also in terms of how you access your data, it's still a manual process until now. You get the data, you export it from your own sensor, you import it to GPR slice, and then do the post-processing. In our mind, it can be done easier, and that's why we are developing and have pre-announced GPR slice, which GPR Insights, which basically is a version of GPR slice that we are putting on WORKSPACE and directly integrate it, right? So in the future, once we release GPR Insights and then you are a user there, you can do the measurements in the field with your GP8000 as an example, or with a GS8000, and without any cables, without any manual copy pasting data forth and back, directly from WORKSPACE, obviously, since the data to it, and you directly start your post-processing once you're in front of your own PC in your home office or at work. And for the future, we are enhancing our own platform with more and more of these post-analysis or analysis tools at the place where they belong, right where you have the data, so that you don't have to go anywhere else anymore. And the best thing about this is WORKSPACE. To access all this data, it's free. You can use it today. You can access it today, and maybe afterwards, when I show it to you in live, you can do this along with me, or you can try it out later and just have a look on your data on WORKSPACE as it is there today. All right, let's do that. The login URL is workspace.screeningeagle.com. Before I go there, actually, I will quickly switch over to my iPad, because I want to do with you, let's say, this complete workflow, right? So let me just bring out my iPad quickly. So let's imagine we were just in the field. We did some measurements with our GP8000, for example. Which one do you think? For example, this one, right? I do some things, but let's see. I want to process it a little bit, already do some picture here. I can quickly create a snapshot, as you know, say snapshot, and maybe let's see, maybe also here, just do some quick annotation on it, something like this. It's just an example, right? Okay, and yeah, let's also create a snapshot quickly here, because I want to show that to somebody afterwards. So here in this list now, I have these cloud icons, right? The filled ones and the empty ones. And those clouds which are filled are the ones which are with WORKSPACE already. And then obviously, then once the other one is then synced, you will see that it will also show this up. And this works exactly the same way with all the other applications, right? So now you saw that one is synced. Obviously, that's the same thing, right? If I mean, you know that if you're in the Schmidt app, you do it the same. It's always this let's say the same look and feel and so on. So we did our work here. And I put the sensor. I drove home. I put the sensor in the cabinet. I go to my PC, and now I open up WORKSPACE. So I go to my browser. Where is it? The browser is here. I type in WORKSPACE. Here. I type in WORKSPACE.screeningeagle.com this way, or if I don't remember this, I can also go to screeningeagle.com, our homepage, On the top right, you see this login button, right? You just click on that one, and then you go. Then you get to the login point where you have been. Since I have already been logged in, obviously it took me right into it. So let's let's have a look here. Let's find this measurement. That's easy because I just changed something on it, right? So you see right on the top, it's this modified date. So I can easily find it because it's the last one that I just changed. I could directly export it from here, but let's have a look. Click on it. It goes directly into the right applications, opens it. And now what you see is, first of all, the last view that I had a look at, but also these snapshots that I just created here. And if I want to download this now, maybe I just create a simple report in Word, right, or whatever. I can go here. I can download this snapshot, and you see directly on the bottom left, it's this snapshot which was just downloaded, and obviously I can do that with other things as well. It gives me a couple information to the settings here, depending on what kind of sensor I have been using. But also I can, for example, look at the logbook that you also know from the applications, right? Just a second, yeah, in the application. So I click on logbook. I have here now more information. I see with which probe this has been taken. I have the whole history of it, right? If I have enabled that, remember you can choose yourself or not whether you want to have this information of where this measurement was taken. But if this is enabled, you see where this was. This was in our office in our headquarters in Zurich. A picture that we added to this, as you know, you can do that if you want, and then also the parameters, how they have been changed, so that I always have the full history of this particular measurement, whether I need that for my own use or maybe even for regulatory uses, right, that I know exactly what happened during my measurement. So also, if I want, and let me just switch maybe to another account where I have a little bit more data to show. I can, let's take another example. Let's take a GS. I can on a single measurement, I can go to more and view data also in a new tab, and it will list all the information for me in an easily exportable way also here, right? So here, obviously, you see there's much more information, which is just associated with all the settings to this particular measurement. And yeah, if we look at this example here, what I can then start doing is I can export the data, right? So depending on what kind of measurement device or what kind of sensor this is, it's a different possibilities, right? So for example, here I can, from the GS, I can export the DXF files or the SEGI files. From the GP app, let's look at this one. I can export the SEGI file, or I can also just create an HTML, which then corresponds exactly to this data that you see here. From an EcoTip, the data looks different, right? So it's more this individual measurements shown on this bar diagram with different information here. I can, for example, export this data in a CSV file, or also create directly a PDF out of it that I can attach to any report or put there. And now let's look at the example of sharing, right? So imagine I do want to share this information with somebody. I can click on it. I can go to share. I can say how long should this data be available for somebody to pick it up. So I put it there, and then it stays there, for example, for 2 days. I copy this link, And now whoever I give this link to can enter this one into his own browser, log in with his own Eagle ID, and then import it. So let's do that quickly. All right. So it's copied in the in my on my computer. Let's say I'm now your colleague, your coworker. I enter it, and then it will ask you whether you really want to import it, import this data. As you see now, it asks, do you want to import this or this data? And with this, you have the possibility now to directly then get a copy of this particular data set as before. Okay. Yeah, let's quickly look at maybe one more measurement from UT probe, for example. Could be interesting because it looks a little bit different. Here you see also then the different snapshots on this measurement, and as always, you can directly download this. And as always, you see the different settings that have been there and which are also then saved here, where you can access your logbook, look at the data, you see which probe was this, and so on, and have access to it. And obviously, if you are using Inspect, you can just also click here, and then it will directly open Inspect from WORKSPACE as well. Just a quick reminder again, if you have any questions, just post them in the Q&A section of this Zoom meeting, and I'll be happy to answer them. Now, oops. So now back here, right? Back here in the home page. What you have, as you see on the bottom, the probes that you have collected your data with. If you want more information on that one, you just click on it. You see what kind of subscription you have. You see how long it is running. That's one of our own, let's say, equipment that we use for our own probes or our own tests. It's the GP8000. If you directly want to export some data from here, that's what you can do. So as I said, right, if you want to directly access it, you can directly click on it, and then it opens up to the different measurements. And maybe also what just that I've shown it to you. We just introduced, or maybe you know it from some apps, we already have that. You have notifications in your apps, right, that pop up. Obviously, we also show them here. At the moment, I don't have any notifications in yet. And if you do want to change your personal profile data, you just go here, or if you want to sign out, again, you go here, and that's where you can change your password and so on. Good. So then I suggest we switch back again to the PowerPoint. There we are. So again, right, WORKSPACE is free. Try it out, workspace.screeningeagle.com. No www in front of it, just like this. And you will be able to have a look at your data, export your data, and share your data with your colleagues. So some key takeaways that I would like you to take with you after this session is, WORKSPACE is really this web-based collaboration management platform for all your inspection work with any of our products, right? WORKSPACE is more than just a Dropbox. And the reason why I say that is also because, as I said, right, and pre-announced in the keynote, we are adding more and more post-analysis tools to it that is then directly integrated with your data, so you don't have to do any manual copy pasting, no USB cables anymore, and so on. WORKSPACE is really the core, or maybe you can also think it is as the foundation of this ecosystem, right? It doesn't replace any probe app, so you still do the measurement in your GP app. You still do the changing the parameters in the app there. Also, it doesn't replace Inspect, right? Inspect, for those who don't know, it is really this inspection workflow software where you can very easily gather all the inspection results, whether it's visual inspections with pictures or also NDT data, and assign that to a specific location, to a specific spot, so that you have all the data at the right place where you actually took this measurement and where you had these observations. And with that, you also know that 3, 4, 5 years in the future, it's heavily customizable exactly to be there for your needs, right? So because everybody does inspections a little bit different in their own workflow. And last but not least, you can then create an inspection report as easy as just with one click of a button. So things maybe copying together the right pictures, the right NDT data, writing a couple of sentences to it, adding some annotations to your pictures, which might have taken you before that a day or days. Now it's really just with one button click, Inspect creates the report for you, and you can easily use that. And also, even in 5, 6, 7 years, when you go back and have a look at it, you still know exactly where has this measurement been taken, where has this observation been done, and with that you have a reference maybe to also the inspections that you are doing today. Screening Eagle is the key to unlock the full potential of your ecosystem. So I really encourage you to use this and also work in this way, right? That you have your own login credential that you use on your probes, but also in other parts of our ecosystem. WORKSPACE is device agnostic. You can access it from any browser on any device. Obviously, if you access it on your mobile phone, you don't have the same great experience than on a big screen, but still it works, right? And sometimes that's good enough if you just want to quickly share some data on the road. And last but not least, it's free. You can use it today, try it out, look how it helps you, look how you can might integrate it into your daily workflow of your daily work.